Trinadapi Sunichena Taradiva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Namaiva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavat Tume. The idea of that song, which was sung by Raghunandan, is the essence of the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That essence is known as Vipralambha, intense feeling in love, separation from the Lord. The devotee always is hankering for the association of the Lord. That is the symptom of a devotee. The materialists, the non-devotees, what is their vipralambha? That they're always missing sense gratification. Unfortunately, in the material world, if you accept the Bhagavad Gita, then you know what Krishna says, that lust can never be satisfied. And therefore the non-devotee is always hankering and lamenting. He hankers for the sense gratification that he wished he had, and he laments for the sense gratification that he loses, because he must lose. Because according to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, sense gratification, lust, is never to be satisfied and burns like fire. Therefore, in the material world, you cannot be happy. It's impossible. It's not designed for your happiness. Of course, if you accept Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. But I accept Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And it has been my experience also. There is no happiness in this material world. It comes and goes. So either materially or spiritually, there is this vipralambha, service in separation. I have a few examples to share with you. The first example is Narada. When Narada, first of all, he was a Gandharva, and he was cursed in the heavenly planets. There was a Sankirtan festival. So it's not just in Radha Raman that we do Sankirtan. They also do it in the heavenly planets. So Narada was beautiful Gandharva. And in an assembly like this, Sankirtan, he started to sing songs glorifying the demigods. Improper. Sankirtan means Hari Kirtan. Even the Devatas know that. Sankirtan means Hari, nobody else. So they got very angry. At this time, he was not Narada, he was Upabarhana. Interesting. Narada told this story of his fall down to Yudhishthira. That's significant. He was not pretending to be something he's not. He was very straightforward. Yes, I used to be a demigod. I fell down. He was not ashamed He wasn't trying to hide himself of who he was. He was not pretending to be some big something he's not. He told the plain truth. I learned from that. I practiced that myself. So Narada was telling Yudhishthira that the Prajapatis and Rishis, they cursed me because I was singing nonsense songs in a Hari Kirtan, Sankirtan. They immediately said, take birth as a Sudra. Immediately. Just like if somebody came here right now, blasting nonsense music, we would kick him out. I hope we would kick him out. It cannot be tolerated. This is Sankirtan, Hari Kirtan. Nobody else is Kirtan. Hari. So he took birth as a Sudra, 5-year-old boy. His mother was working in a Dharmashala. He was serving Bhakti Vedantas, devotees. He learned from them. They blessed him. When his mother died, the 5-year-old boy had nowhere to go, so he started walking. He walked and walked and walked. He sat down under a tree and began to practice what those Bhakti Vedantas had previously taught him. Lo and behold, Krishna appears to him. No, it wasn't a vision. Krishna actually appeared to him. But what Krishna told him, there's another step. Krishna appeared to him, and the young boy Narada was feeling so enlivened, all of his senses separately enlivened, seeing the Lord. And at one point he said, I couldn't distinguish myself from the Lord. He felt oneness. Then the Lord disappeared. You can imagine if you had received $1 million and then gone. Can you compare the Lord to $1 million? $1 billion? Mr. That stupid Trump is boasting he has so many billions. Idiot. But even all of his money compared to seeing Krishna, can you put a price tag on that? You cannot put a price tag. Krishna is not a cheap God. There are many cheap gods. Krishna is not a cheap God. You got to pay the price. Kamlesh, what is that price? Surrender. Yes, that's the price. Not so easy. So when the Lord disappeared, Narada said, oh, I'll just do my meditation again. He tried, the Lord didn't come. He tried some more, the Lord didn't come. He tried and tried and tried. Why? It's not a mechanical process. It's not like paying your cable bill and you expect my channels, ZTV. Again, Krishna is not a cheap God that you put your money in. Okay, you want to see me? Okay. Pay your cable bill. He's free. He comes and goes as he pleases. So when the boy kept trying and trying, this is what the Lord spoke. In other words, the Lord did not appear, but he spoke. Here is what he spoke. Very important. Pay attention. Hantasmin janmani bhavan mamang drastum iharhati avipavta kashayanang dudarshohang kuyoginam. That's a very kuyogi. Right now, all over the United States, Europe, there are thousands of kuyogis. Millions. Hold on to that. Please repeat. The Lord spoke. O Narada, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. This shloka alone, I could speak for 1 hour. What is this verse telling you? Why somebody can't see God? Incomplete in service, meaning devotional service, and not free from material sins. There you go. That's why we can't see God. You accomplish those two things, you'll be able to see God. The Lord's not finished speaking. Remember, He's invisible to Narada. All Narada hears is this voice. He's in the forest. Okay, he's all alone, except for the voice. Sakridyad darshitang rupam etat kamayate naga matkama shanakai sadhu saravan munchati hrichchayan. Please repeat, O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me, because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. This is, oh, very good. That means I've got my audience. Excellent. So here is the key. Here is the mood of separation. He's telling the boy, you're not going to see me again in this lifetime. But there's a reason. It's not that Krishna is being cruel. We don't worship a cruel God. We worship the most loving God. If Krishna was cruel, I would not worship him. But Krishna is not cruel. He's the most famous, most beautiful, most knowledgeable, most loving, he's the most best everything. That's why I worship Krishna. It's not without reason. I accepted Krishna as God at the age of 23 with much thought. Didn't do it blindly. Yes, I was following Prabhupada, but it wasn't, okay, Prabhupada, whatever you say, I don't. No, it wasn't like that. I had to understand. So Krishna is doing this because he says, the more you hanker for me, you're going to become more purified. That is the essence of Vipralambha. You don't get always, but you hanker for it. Why? Because you know there's nothing better than Krishna. Like Narada, he saw the form, he actually saw in 3D. Once you actually see Krishna, nothing else. Same way with Parikshit. I just thought of that. Parikshit was the same way. In the womb of his mother, he saw Paramatma circling. He saw Paramatma burning up the Brahmastra sent by who? Ashvatthama. He actually saw this. So when he came out, what do you think? His whole life, he was looking. Are you the one that say, was it you? Was it you? He, as a name, prediction, examining. He was always investigating. Maybe it was you. It was you. But it never happened, did it? But by that constant examining, he became purified. My good friend, Dwarkadish Das, he always emphasizes Bhaktivedanta purport. I'm now going to read a Bhaktivedanta purport. When I was compiling this yesterday, I thought of you. May Krishna bless you. As Prabhupada used to say, sit properly. Now this purport is excellent. A living being cannot be vacant of desires. One is not a dead stone. He or she must be working, thinking, feeling, and willing. But when one thinks, feels, and wills materially, they become entangled. And conversely, when one thinks, feels, and wills for the service of the Lord, he or she becomes gradually freed from all entanglement. The more a person is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the more one acquires a hankering for it. Clue, that's how you know you're making advancement. Because you become greedy for service. The materialist becomes greedy for sense gratification, and the advancing devotee becomes greedy for service. In your jobs, you're not going to your boss, oh, give me more work. Are you? If a boss has that kind of an employee, that's all he needs. But when it comes to Krishna, the devotee is saying, please give me more work. Give me more service. Every month. How many years, Krishna Kumar, have I been blessing your office? How many years? 10 years. Every month I go to his establishment. What is his prayer every month? It's the same prayer. Lord, give me more service. Isn't that what we pray, Krishna Kumar? Every month for 10 years. How's it work so far? Pretty good, huh? You're happy? Atta boy. That is the transcendental nature of godly service. Material service has satiation, whereas spiritual service of the Lord has neither satiation nor end. I was discussing this with Dwarkadish the other day. There is no retirement from devotional service. There is no vacation from devotional service because it's not material. One can go on increasing one's hankering for the loving transcendental service of the Lord, and yet he or she will not find satiation or end. By intense service of the Lord, one can experience the presence of the Lord transcendentally. Therefore, seeing the Lord means being engaged in his service. Prabhupada's guru used to say, don't try to see God. Act in such a way that God sees you. You see the difference? Act in such a way that God says, oh, look. Oh, Gadadhar is singing nice now. Yes. Seeing the Lord means being engaged in his service because his service and his person are identical. This is the absolute nature. Just like Krishna's name is Krishna. Krishna's service is Krishna. Once you get this down, you become a different person. You think differently, you act differently. Once this is understood, Krishna's service is Krishna. Give me more service. That's what I pray for. Give me more Namahat programs at Radha Raman Temple. Thank you, Kakanaji. I hope that Krishna acts through you. Yes. The sincere devotee should go on with sincere service of the Lord, and the Lord will give proper direction as to how and where it has to be done. Reminds you of a verse in Bhagavad Gita, which Meena wanted me to speak on. Dadami buddhi yogam tab. Yes, I give them the knowledge how to come to me. One of your Chatushloki from Bhagavad Gita. Now, this line, pay attention. The relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. Should I say it again? The relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. That is Bhakti Yoga, right there. That is how you become intimate with God, through service. You may be the pujari, it's nice service. You may sit here on the Vyasasad, nice service. But you may be vacuuming the rug. Is that less service? Equal. Really? Yes. Maybe you clean up after the Namahat program and you take out the trash. Does that mean that that person is less than Raghunandan or the speaker? Equal. Isn't that nice? We're all equal. Group hug. We're all equal here. There was no material desire in Narada, and yet just to increase his intense desire of the Lord, he was so advised. Now everybody chant them.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
While I was compiling this yesterday, I spent several hours. And as you work, I'll give you an insight. So there was one purport in the Krishna book. I haven't gotten to it yet. It's the closing. But once I started reading that, then, what about this? And then when I accomplished that, I remembered this. It was like a ping pong. And before I started at 2 o'clock, before I knew it, it was 8 o'clock. That's ecstasy. 6 hours absorbed in preparing for this class. Thank you, and thank you. Rukmini, one day, she was fanning Krishna, and Krishna wanted to tease her. So Krishna started to denigrate himself, saying, "Oh, Rukmini, why are you with me? I'm not really a Kshatriya. I'm actually a cowherd boy." Well, some people think I'm a cowherd. Nobody knows who I really am. And Rukmini, why are you with me? I'm nothing. You should have married Shishupal. It's not too late, Rukmini. After all, by this time, Rukmini had grandchildren. And Krishna is saying, but there's no time, it's okay, you can divorce me. Rukmini couldn't believe what was coming out of Krishna's mouth. He was putting himself down in so many ways. Finally, when Krishna mentioned that, yes, you can divorce me, Rukmini fainted, and the chamara fell from her hand, and she fell down like a banana tree in a hurricane. Boom! Krishna was trying to play a joke. It backfired. If he had done this to Satyabhama, Satyabhama would have yelled at him, because Satyabhama is more feisty. But Rukmini is completely submissive. So Rukmini was taking what Krishna was saying, not as a joke, but she was taking it very serious. What? You're going to divorce? Ah! So she was also feeling that separation, that Krishna, and when she came to, she also said to Krishna, she prayed, I know that you can leave me at any time. Therefore, I simply want to remain your eternal servant. Very, very meek and submissive Rukmini, but she was tasting that ecstasy of separation. So the next thing that I thought about is there are 3 verses in Shikshastakam, and you all know Shikshastakam, right? Oh, good. There are 3 verses that speak about this separation. And since you all know it, let's do it. Ainanda tanuja kinkarang patitang mang vishame bhavam budao kripayata vapada pankaja stita duli sadrishang vichintaya. Wait. One. Good. I'm glad to see you know your verses. Excellent. But let's digest one at a time. Please repeat, O my Lord, O Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant, but because of my own fruitive acts, I have fallen in this horrible ocean of nescience. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust at your lotus feet. So, several things here. Because of my own fruitive acts, we have no one to blame but ourselves why we are here. We were in the kingdom of God, but my own fruitive acts, here I am in the material world. Now please be merciful. Consider me a particle of dust. Notice Lord Chaitanya's humility. Consider me a particle of dust. Talking earlier about Rukmini, later at Kurukshetra, when they all meet, the residents of Vrindavan and the residents of Dwarka, there's a conversation between Draupadi and the queens, Krishna's queens. And Draupadi wants to know from them how they became Krishna's wife, because Draupadi was a great, staunch devotee of Krishna. She wanted to hear from each of them, how did you become Krishna's wife? And they each said, without exception, I may be Krishna's wife, but actually I think of myself as his maidservant. I don't think your wives consider themselves your maidservant. I don't think so. But the queens of Dwarka told Draupadi, yeah, I may be Krishna's queen, but you know what? I'm simply Krishna's maidservant. So, in this verse, Lord Chaitanya is teaching us, we have fallen down. Now recognize, I need to be reinstated. So that, again, is an aspect of that separation. I have become disconnected. When you come to this material world, there's a feeling of disconnection. The spiritual master reconnects you. That's the significance of initiation. You are reconnected once again. That's the spiritual master's business. Next verse. Nayanam galadasrudaraya Badanam gadgadarudaya gira Pulakaya nichitang vapukada Tavanama grahane bhavishyati. Repeat. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs of my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? So here is a higher level of separation. In the beginning, we chant only out of duty because we're told to. Shri Shri Radharamang Bhagavan Ki Jai. That's why in the beginning we chant like this. No taste. And we're just doing it because it's a chore. But as you get purified, as you render more service, you start to get a taste. Then you start to chant with more attention and more. So when you come to this stage, you're waiting, oh my Lord, when will I be able to chant like this? Because what Lord Chaitanya describes here is perfectional chanting. Here's perfectional chanting. Tears of love come to your eyes. Oh, Krishna. Your voice falters. When Lord Chaitanya was performing Rath Yatra and he would see he couldn't pronounce Jagannath's name because he was feeling too much ecstasy. The hairs of my body stand on end. The only time that happens to us is when we get a big fat paycheck. But Lord Chaitanya is giving us a glimpse. Here's to aspire. Here's what's to aspire for. Because this is available. This kind of transcendental ecstasy is available if we chant nicely, properly, every day. Let's chant.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
And by the way, Piyush, you did the japa class very nicely. Thank you very much for your nice japa. Okay, one more Shikshastakam verse on this same point. Together, since you know it. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishaitam Govinda. Very good, you passed your test. You weren't lying. Very good. That's why I like coming here. You have a great group here. Advanced. This is the advanced class. Don't get puffed up. But this is the advanced class. Please repeat. My Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment a great millennium. Tears flow from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see the entire world as void. So this is the epitome of this service, this mood of separation. When you're enjoying, how does time go? But we just got here. Like when you take the kids, yeah, you did. You took the kids to Disneyland, right? It's now 10 o'clock, and you're telling the kids it's time to go. We just got here. Yeah, you arrived at 8, it's now 10, you want to go home, you're tired. The kids, no, there's 8,000 more rides to go on. Yeah, because you're enjoying. When you're enjoying, time just, but when you're suffering, when I got my first kidney stone, then I realized this verse. My wife took me to the hospital, and they said, oh, it's going to be 45 minutes. Oh, that 45 minutes was like 12 years. You know what I'm talking about. Whew. Hare Krishna, thank you, Krishna. Thank you. Yes, the devotee, when he comes to this stage, can't wait to be united with Krishna. Please chant the Maha Mantra, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Now, here is this was, what I'm going to read now is the original item that was the catalyst for everything I spoke so far. From reading this paragraph, all the stuff that I just did came from that. So, this paragraph comes at the time when the residents of Vrindavan and the residents of Dwaraka met at Kurukshetra, not for the battle of Kurukshetra. That took place later. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, there was a solar eclipse. So, by divine arrangement, the residents of Vrindavan and the residents of Dwarka met at Kurukshetra. Now, previous to this, so this had been quite some time, because Akrura took Krishna when? How old was Krishna when Akrura took him out of Vrindavan? 11. He was 11 years old. So after killing Kamsa, Krishna decided to spend time with Vasudeva and Devaki. And then after that, he got entangled by marrying only 16,108 queens. He never returned to Vrindavan as he promised. So when they met at Kurukshetra, the residents of Vrindavan have not seen Krishna for many, many years. So when they met, it was very, very heartwarming. And, as you would expect, there was a secret rendezvous with the gopis, of course. So there was an exchange between the gopis and Krishna, but what Prabhupada comments is our topic. The gopis are always liberated souls because they are fully in Krishna consciousness. They only pretend to be entangled in the household affairs of Vrindavan. In spite of their long separation, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, were not interested in the idea of going with Krishna to his capital city, Dwaraka. So there seems to have been some kind of suggestion that the gopis would return with Krishna to Dwaraka. The gopis wanted to remain busy in Vrindavan and thus feel the presence of Krishna in every step of their lives. Remember what we read earlier. Service to Krishna is Krishna. So even though Krishna has not been present in Vrindavan for many, many years, what do you think they were thinking about? Krishna. And because they were always thinking of Krishna, Krishna was actually there. That is Vrindavan. As I've said many times, even if Radharani wanted to forget Krishna, it's impossible. As that incident with the bumblebee. She's chastising criticizing the bumblebee and indirectly chastising Krishna. And then when the bumblebee goes away, oh no, I didn't mean it. Don't go and tell Krishna what I just said. So then when the bumblebee came back, Radharani had a different tone. The idea being, Krishna is always in Radharani's heart. There's nothing else. So the gopis are in the same way. Even though Krishna has been absent, it didn't matter. Wherever they looked, what do you think they saw? Krishna's footprints in the dirt. All they could do was remember all the activities of Krishna. Same way in the night of the Rasa dance. When Krishna left the gopis, what did they do? They acted out the baby pastimes, childhood pastimes of Krishna. Because they're mad after Krishna. They cannot, as Prabhupada once said, I love this quote. One of his disciples said, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, I fell into Maya. Prabhupada said, no, you're always in Maya. Sometimes you fall into Krishna. That is our position. The gopis, Radharani, they cannot fall into Maya. It's impossible. Unfortunately, we do. So we're trying to think and remember Krishna. Instead, the gopis immediately invited Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. There you go. No, Krishna, we don't want to go to Dwarka. Why don't you come back with us? This transcendental emotional existence of the gopis is the basic principle of Lord Chaitanya's teaching. The Ratha Yatra festival, coming up when? August 2nd, couple of weeks. The Ratha Yatra festival, observed by Lord Chaitanya, is the emotional process of taking Krishna back to Vrindavan. And if you want to read more about this, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 12, 13, and 14. You read those 3 chapters, you will understand Ratha Yatra perfectamundo, perfectly. Everything is there by the lips of Krishnadas Kaviraj and Prabhupada's beautiful purports. It's all there. Srimati Radharani refused to go with Krishna to Dwaraka to enjoy his company in the atmosphere of royal opulence, because when Krishna went to Kurukshetra, he was not cowherd boy Krishna, he was Yadu Kumar. And there were, or Dwarkadish, yeah, same thing. There were elephants, there were horses, and there's a prayer that Radharani is saying, wait a second, this is not the Krishna I know. Where is the moonlit night? Where is the river Yamuna? Where? Krishna's not playing his flute. He's a prince? I don't want this Krishna. I want this cowherd boy Krishna. Not this Dwarkadish. No. We want Govinda. Everybody say. Govinda. Lord Krishna, being profoundly attached to the gopis, never goes away from Vrindavan, and the gopis and other residents of Vrindavan remain fully satisfied in Krishna consciousness. So, this Ratha Yatra, I'll give you a quick synopsis. In Jagannath Puri, they're going to do it on Friday. The actual Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri is on this Friday. So, the Jagannath temple represents Kurukshetra, which we were just talking about. And Jagannath goes on his cart with who? Baladev Subhadra, which we sang, right? And they go to another temple known as Gundicha. And that Gundicha temple represents Vrindavan. So it is the process of taking Krishna from Kurukshetra back to Vrindavan. That is how Lord Chaitanya. Now, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but in the mood of, so, during the Rath Yatra, who's on the cart? Who is he in front of? Jagannath. Jagannath is Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya is sometimes pulling the rope and sometimes dancing. And he's leading Krishna back to Vrindavan. And sometimes the cart won't move, and they bring elephants and wrestlers. Cart won't move. Lord Chaitanya takes his head, gives the cart a push. It starts to move. Meaning, Jagannath will not go, or Krishna will not go without Radharani. She is, it's stated, she is the binding link of the rasa dance. Notice, the night of the rasa dance, he left the other gopis to be with who? She was not getting special attention. So she led him out, and he followed, disappearing from the other gopis. She's the binding link of the, no Radharani, no rasa dance, sorry. So here, this was the topic. The highest spiritual ecstasy taught by Lord Chaitanya is to come to that stage where you feel this intense separation from Krishna. That you don't want nothing else, nothing more. I must have Krishna. Gadadhar, will you sing with me? Please. Hari Haraye Namaha. Hari Hari Haraye Namaha. Actually, all the bhajans, all the kirtans is this: feeling separation and crying out. Like Prabhupada says, what is japa? Like the child crying for its mother. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Krishna Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Shri Madhusudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Gopala Ram Shri Madhusudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Gopala Vindaram Shri Madhusudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. 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 All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
So we have 5 more minutes. If somebody has any questions, please feel free.